Well, millions of Australians could now be denied entry into the UK and Ireland, with border controls being tightened. In major changes coming into effect today, dual citizens must enter on a valid UK or Irish passport.
However, there is an exception with travellers able to pay for a certificate of entitlement, which will allow them to travel on their Aussie passport. But with new laws now in place, many are scrambling to get their documents in order before their next trip, which is right now. So joining us is Chris Waite, travel expert. Great to have you with us, Chris. So take us through the changes for dual citizens and just expect that we know nothing here.
Okay, I can do that. So from today, changes to UK entry requirements are changing, and to say it's been a bit confusing and quite chaotic is probably an understatement, but let's try and simplify it a little bit. Now, the good news is, for the majority of Australians, it's quite simple. All they need to do is apply for an ETA, an electronic travel authorisation. They do that by downloading an ETA app or going online, and all they need to do is pay £16, which is roughly $30, complete their details, and this is generally issued pretty quickly, but they do say to allow around 3 days just in case there's any questions. But here's where it actually gets really interesting, is Australian citizens who have dual nationality with British or Irish nationality cannot apply for an ETA. So they must enter the UK on their British or Irish passport. Now, you can imagine there are people who have travelled into the UK on their Australian passport before. The British passport's in a drawer. Yeah. It's expired, it's gathering dust, and they need to go about the process of renewing or applying for that passport before they're allowed to enter the UK. But there has been an announcement from the UK government the last few days, which I think might be in response to some of the chaos that has been caused. And it seems that they are going to allow people with an Australian passport and an expired British passport, as long as it was issued after 1989, to travel into the UK. But they have added a caveat that it's at the airline's discretion. And so at the moment, it seems that as of yesterday, Qantas has said they will accept an expired British passport. And I hear from industry contacts that Singapore Airlines has also said the same.
Okay. So what if you go to the UK, you don't realise that you were eligible for an Irish or British passport because it was through the grandparent or something? Do you then have to go in on a passport you've never applied for?
It seems that way, and this is where it's really murky, and people, I think there's a bit of chaos and confusion around this, and I think possibly later on today at Heathrow and Gatwick there might be a few longer lines than expected, because I'm not sure they're necessarily sure what's going to happen once it all kicks off. And for these people that don't actually realise they are British citizens because one of their parents was British, that's going to be the bit that really catches people out. Yeah. And in the 2021 census, over 2 million Australians had a British parent, so this could be almost 10% of the population is affected by this rule.
So just really quickly, could you get deported?
You could be denied entry, and if you have to leave, it's at your own expense. So make sure you've checked before you get on that plane whether you're entitled to go or not.
And maybe at Heathrow they need to put on 1,000 more workers because there's going to be a lot of people questioning. Yeah. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.